Welcome to an episode of r/slash petty revenge, where we share stories of small victories over those who wronged you. Kick back and enjoy these stories we're about to share with you, and at the end of this video, make sure to like, comment, and definitely subscribe if you have not already done so. Now, on to the stories. And this next story is posted by u/plausibly dead. Revenge is best served cold. 5 things first. Firstly, I'm not a native English speaker, or writer for that matter, so I apologize beforehand for all spelling and grammar errors. I'm from Europe. For people in the US, it's not a country, it's a continent. That is why I use the metric system. I will pit my guesstimate in imperial behind a bracket. Secondly, I'm on mobile. Thirdly, TLDR at the bottom if I don't forget it. Fourthly, long-time lurker on a throwaway account because reasons. First-time posting. Fifthly, sorry, but not sorry if this turns out to be too long. Now, onto the story. My wife, my best friend and nemesis, all the same person, was outside our house working in our garden one Wednesday morning. As the sun was rising and started to warm everything up with its rays, beams, she was furiously hacking away in the flower bed with dirt, weeds, and an odd flower flying in every direction. Now, anyone might wonder why she was whacking the dirt like a misaligned cultivator. The reason? Me. I had just woken her up with a bed full of ice and water, and when she finally stopped screaming and took a breath before a flood of curse words emerged, I bent over, kissed her, looked her deep in the eyes while I told her I love her, and then I left for work. In my defense, I only put the water and ice in my half of the bed. She's the one who rolled into it. I should probably explain at this point that this is our thing. We play pranks on each other. And this was simply my answer to her putting a hair removal wax, I'm trying to find a civil way to describe it, in the area between the exit only. In my case, I don't care what other people do. And the marble sack. I simply thought she needed to cool down a bit after causing me the most pain I have ever felt since, well, ever. That hurt so much, I was yelling curse words I had no idea existed, and even lesser idea that I knew them. So, that is the reason my wife was outside punishing the greenery. I had gotten my payback and left for work. Now, my work has no regular working hours, shifts, or schedule. I usually only get a 2 days advance on my next working stride, and this Wednesday, I had left for 2 nights. I wouldn't be back until Friday. The reason my wife was at home, it was summer and school was over. My job, although effed up working hours, pays good enough so my wife doesn't have to work and can focus on her education, currently working in a master's degree. About an hour after I leave, my neighbor across the street calls me. He is an elderly retired machinist, very skilled in his hands and a great storyteller. We have become great friends over the years, and even though he could easily be my grandfather, it feels like we're the same age. This man has seen some spit in all his years, and it takes a lot to startle him. Anyway, he calls me, and with his calm, raspy voice, he asks, should I be worried that wife is going around your garden like a startled heifer and the garden looks like a minefield? Me, well, that depends. And then I tell him the whole story. We laugh about this for a while before he says, well, I don't want to interrupt your work with nonsense, so I'll hang up now. But when you get back, you should come by for a beer. I need to show you my... Uh-oh, this should be interesting. Me, what? Him, well, 2 of those religion people just showed up, and they're headed straight for a wife. At that point, I really need to get back to work. I tell him so ask him to keep an eye on my wife, just in case. Even though she's just under 150 centimeters, 5 yards and 3 pinches, she's tough. With words only I have seen her tear people apart. So if those religion people, turns out they were Latter-day Saint, struck the wrong nerve, they would need some help and treatment for PTSD. Let's turn our attention to my wife again. After lashing out in the garden, she was calming down and started to think of ways to get back at me. And then one of those ways walked up to her and introduced themselves as Michael and Peter. Fake names, obviously. And they wanted to talk to her about religion. She told them that she was not interested, but she also told them that I had been doubting my religion and had been pondering about finding something else. She also informed them that I would be home Friday afternoon and that would be a perfect time to call me and have a chat. Then she gave them my phone number. Note, we are both atheists. We have nothing against religion, as we have seen it do wonders for other people. It's just not our thing. My wife's plan was the following. They would call me and tell me that my wife had told them about my religious concerns. And there is my lovely wife's revenge. She knows me so well. She knows that if I think that she has approved of this, I cannot turn them down and hang up like I usually do. She knows that I cannot for the life of me do anything to make her look bad. In this case, make her look like a liar, which she actually is in this case. It's not a conscious thing, I just do it. So I would have been stuck with them for quite a while, politely talking about religion, which I loathe to talk about. This could have all played out perfectly for my wife if not for two reasons. First, Michael and Peter decided that a matter such as doubting your own religion needed a more delicate approach than a phone call. So that Friday afternoon, they showed up on our doorstep and rung the bell. My daughter, a spitting image of her beautiful mother, looking like an angel in a white summer dress, opened the door. Michael and Peter asked for me by name, and my daughter runs inside to get me. At this point, the wife's plan could still have worked if not for the second factor, my appearance. I'm not a small man. I'm just under 2 meters, 7 gallons tall, and I am wide too. Not ripped, but pretty muscular. I have to go sideways through some doors. I have grown a vicious beard. I'm bald and have made it a hobby of mine to have my body covered with tattoos, one of them being a big demon across my chest. As I had just been to the shower after returning from work, I had only put on pants. So I went to meet them in most of my glory. All of my glory is for the wife only. As Michael saw me, I could see how he froze, and I heard the cogs in his head trying to cope with the situation he was not prepared for. I also saw how poor Peter looked at me slowly from toes to head with a long pause on my chest. His mouth was open, and his looks have given me a reason to use the word dumbfounded. I love that word. Michael's brain was still choking on something, so Peter took the initiative and asked, "Are you/plausibly dead?" Me, "Yes." Peter, while nudging his frozen fellow, "Oh, I think we have the wrong house." And with that, they turned around and left. Later that night, I got the missing parts of my story from the wife, and here you have the whole thing. Thanks for reading. And this story is posted by you/Renlobo. Wake my mother? It'll cost you. One day, back in the late 90s, my mother tells me she has been getting phone calls between 2 and 4 a.m. every day for a week. She says she hears a strange noise when she answers it. I realize it's a fax machine, so I bring my computer over to try and figure out who the hell it is. I set up the computer to receive the fax and spend the night. In the morning, I pull up the fax on the computer, and it's for some paving company. It's a bill for a private school in town. So I call the paving company and tell them they have the wrong number and to stop faxing my mother at 3 a.m. The guy gives me attitude and hangs up. I leave my computer just in case. Next day, same crap with the fax. This time, though, it was an advertisement. WTF. So I wait until after they are closed for the day and send them a fax back. It says, "Stop faxing my mother at 3 a.m. at XXX phone number." Then 200 pages of solid black to make sure and run out all the toner in the cartridge. Never got a call or fax again. Never mess with my mom. And this next story is posted by you/Faye-E-Reese. Theft thinks he can get things for free. He gets charged double. So, the context. This will be a pretty short story, but still a petty revenge. A few time ago, I was working in a small grocery store in a city in France. My shifts were mostly from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. I was alone in the store from 9 p.m. One thing to know, the store isn't that big, but there are cameras everywhere, and nothing can happen in here that won't be recorded. But those cameras are kind of hidden and hard to spot. So, during one of my shifts, a young man, about 19 or 20, enters the store and buys a few things. Little did he know that I've been watching him on the CCTVs and saw him hiding cans of sodas and food in his backpack before going to the cashier. I didn't say a thing, but I charged him double for every item he stole. He paid with his card and didn't even check the amount. This could stop there. I got my revenge on the theft, but the guy came back the week after to do the exact same thing, and I've been charging him double that time again. Same thing the week after. This lasted for a whole month before he finally noticed what I've been doing. When he asked me why the price was that high, I explained him all that happened this month with a satisfied smile. He became silent, gave a quick apology, and left. Never saw that guy again. And this story is posted by /_Jack the Blumpkin King. P is stored in the balls. When I was 10, my cousin and I were playing outside. I was a chubbier boy at the time, but I was feeling confident and decided to chill outside without my shirt on while we were playing. It was a hot summer day after all. Well, the kids next door saw, and they called me a fatty and were pointing and laughing. This hurts my feelings, so I went inside and put on a shirt. Well, the kids had gone inside for a bit, and I knew they were the typical kind who like to toss a ball around like I've seen them before. I had a tennis ball and peed all over it for a good 30 seconds. After it was drenched, I left it out in the sun in the alley where they were playing. They had finally come back outside, and I was watching them. And my calculations were correct, and they picked it up and started playing catch with it. Needless to say, I felt good with my biological attack. These were 4 great stories, so we definitely thank you for listening, and do us a huge favor, comment, like, share, and definitely subscribe for sure, so you'll be able to get more of the reminders for new videos that come out in the future. Have yourselves an incredible day. This has been TNA Top Notch Audio.